1,000 stories in the naked city. This is the only one we could think of in so little time. He was born in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day, 1945, to Nick and Georgia Perry. This is where our story begins. Growing up in Pittsburgh was a very happy time for Chris. His childhood was no different than any other kid's, except for one little detail, as these pictures reveal. His parents would not let him wear long pants until he was 10 years old, a traditional Greek custom. A look into Chris's past reveals an interest in advertising at a very young age. While his Morningside School classmates were doing arts and crafts, Chris was working on the original concept for intelligent advertising. His first ad was for the Flangos sisters, the Pittsburgh version of the Doublemint twins. Other notable concepts included gift-wrapped fish, the first portable stereo, the Dog Man, and a line of clothes with the Ed Norton label. At age 10, after getting his first set of long pants, Chris became a bat boy for the Pirates. Tragically, Chris was hit in the head by a line drive off the bat of Bill Mazeroski. For 1 year, he thought that he and his brother were Wally and the Beaver. He insisted that his parents were June and Ward Cleaver. At age 11, he uttered those now famous words, "I don't give a rat's," after a department store Santa insisted that Chris should get a Daniel Boone cap instead of the Blackboard Jungle knife set that Chris really wanted. Chris's teenage years were to be some of his most memorable. He and a group of friends started a rock and roll band called Chris and the Advertisers. Soon after, Chris was drafted into the Army. He served 4 years on the elite Goat Squad at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. To this day, Chris cannot pass a goat without feeling proud he served his country. Upon his discharge, Chris enrolled in advertising courses at a local Pittsburgh college, Wayne Newton State. Chris was so serious back then that he started to look like Wayne himself. It wasn't until he met his wife, Kathy, that he snapped out of it. What a crazy guy. After getting his degree, it was time to get a job.
Chris was a real diamond in the rough when I first met him. I knew he had the talent to make it big. Unfortunately, we at M&F at that time had no room for him. We made the decision to put him into our exotic creative training program, knowing that if he could stick it out, we would eventually find a great slot for him. His first couple of months were spent making Euro sandwiches for Bert in the Spot.
Chris was very green when he started. He didn't know a BLT from a turkey club, but he learned. He was very quick.
Bert, did he have his famous temper back then?
Oh yeah. We used to fight all the time about what specials we should serve on what days. He was always trying to tell me about how people have brains, intelligence, you know, the psychology of food.
Did he dress well back then?
In the beginning, he would come in a t-shirt and jeans, but after a while, he starts seeing the way guys like Dennis Ockerbloom dressed.
Where did he go after his promotion?
He became assistant security chief under Jim. Chris was headed up the corporate ladder.
He was a good guy and very nice to all the employees. He liked to call it intelligent security.
When Terry Parmalee came down and told me that I was going to have the new creative director to train, I sort of wondered what he looked like. Having had Mr. Stotterman for quite a while, and then Brenda called me and said, "Oh, what a doll." And I thought, sure, what a doll, like the past ones. And then he appeared, and I thought, well, he's not as good looking as I thought he was going to be, But, I mean, he'll be a pussycat. I can handle this one. Well, as it turns out to be, I think he's one of the greatest people I've ever worked for.
Oh, Chris, my name is Barnaby. To all your friends, I've been in this business for 38 years, and I've received some very tender and almost mushy mail. But the one I received from you last week was sickening. Stop it, Chris. I'm not going to change. You can, but not me. Happy birthday. Whew.
I first met Chris Perry, and I was coming back from Republic Steel down in the flats. And he said something that was very profound. He said, "Will you be in tomorrow morning?" And I wrote it down, and I'd like to share with you on this special event some of the famous things Chris has said over the years. That was 1981 when he first said that, but in 82 he said, "Everybody has ideas." In 83 he followed up with his jaywalking ticket with the famous quote, "Guilt is not the issue." Following that on a new business presentation, he said, "You know, that's the problem, accounts that we can't enforce." He also said, and I quote, during the Dow Corning rehearsal, "Well, I've got a heavy axe to bear, or a cross to grind. Well, who cares? Damn, I'm a Sunday player anyway." He followed up, strong year, and he said, "Bruce and I can justify it, not with facts and figures, of course." And moving right along, he said, where is it here? He was quiet for a while. Then he said, down at the Nationwide presentation at lunch, he said, "I'll have the ham and Swiss cheese." We're not kind of sure what kind of swish he was talking about there. And the last quote I have in my book was uttered at the CSCA Awards dinner, and Chris Perry said, and I quote, "Many times an award ceremony is marked as excellent only by the excellence and the quality of its speaker." And then he introduced Ed Buxton.
I'm overcome. I mean, I didn't think that time would fly by so fast. I remember when he was born. Sure, everybody knows it was Christmas Day, but nobody knows it was the last time that we saw Halley's Comet. Came in over Pittsburgh, right? You're wondering about it. I saw it, and on the same day, Chris was born. A lot of people saw that up there, and they thought, "Hey, could this be the second coming?" You know, and it wasn't until these. Well, I'm going to tell how old he is. He's 76 years old. That's the last time Halley's Comet. Then they used to call it Halley's. Now they call it Halley's because Chris changed
Chris,
that.
all kidding aside, happy birthday to you. Here's to your 40th. I know how it feels, and you're going to start slowing down pretty soon, so drink fast.
A happy Meldrum Fewsmith birthday from old Gordo. Well, that really doesn't seem like enough, Chris. So, I brought along some birthday greetings from some of our clients. This is from Martha at 3WE. She says, "He may be getting on in years, but he's still a 4/4 pounder to me." Whoa. From Vicky at Stanley Steamer. "Be still my heart, flutter, flutter." And the rest are in a plain brown envelope.
Okay, I just want to say thank you, and thanks for helping me a lot. When I first got here, you were very important to me. I mean, everything that I knew about you was true, and you taught me a lot about how to think and how to put energy and concepts into my work, and I just think you're a terrific writer and one of the best people I ever worked with and probably ever will work with. So I really appreciate everything you've done for me, and I really don't know what else to say, but that I'm really gonna miss you, Scott, and I wish you the best of luck in your family. And Chris, happy 40th birthday.